First off, my name is Michael Cien. I'm not from Honduras, I'm from Louisiana. Actually, I'm in Honduras working with internet service provider, running an internet service provider, and we also distribute MikroTik and other brands of equipment in Honduras. ¿Cuántos de ustedes aquí hablan español? Ok, hay bastantes. Lo voy a explicar un poquito también en español por los que quieren. Mi nombre es Michael Cien, trabajo en AC Network en Honduras, un proveedor de internet. También tengo una distribución de equipos con los socios de ahí, que es Quality Industrial Construction in Honduras. What I want to talk to you about this morning is what you can do with the Hotspot on MikroTik with external login. Some of you probably already know this, some of you probably don't. To be honest with you, I've been working with MikroTik for like over 10 years. We've run a WIS for 6 years. Basically all self-taught. I finally was certified as a consultant, several years back, one of the first in Honduras. And, but I went a long time working with Hotspot and not understanding that you could do a lot more with it than what I was actually doing. So, yo muchos años trabajé con MikroTik y hace 10 años, pero había algo con el Hotspot que no me di cuenta que podía hacer. Entonces yo quise tomar la oportunidad hoy para demostrarle un pequeño ejemplo de lo que hemos hecho y en qué nos puede ayudar a nosotros. No es algo muy difícil para poner en uso, práctica, y aquí le voy a dar unas demostraciones. Si anda su celular, y hay dos hotspots aquí actualmente, uno se llama Pizza Hut y otro se llama AC Network. Son dos diferentes versiones de eso, uno que lo voy a estar enseñando aquí ahorita, y el otro está con un VPN hasta Honduras, conectado a todos los servidores de Pizza Hut, Denny's y Kentucky Fried Chicken en Honduras, y lo que están usando actualmente ellos en todos los sucursales a nivel nacional. If you have your laptop or your phone, I don't know how well it's working because the internet here is not really that good from what I'm picking up here. There's a hotspot that's called ASI Network, which is going to be in the demonstration here, and there's another one called Pizza Hut. The Pizza Hut one is tied into all the Pizza Huts, Kentucky Fried Chickens, and Denny's in the whole country of Honduras. It's actual live right now. I kind of hacked into it and set up this little demo here. So we're running on Pizza Hut 38 right now. And if you log in, I don't know how fast it's going to come up, but if you log in, it'll show you their login screen that everybody sees in Honduras and how they get free internet while they're at Pizza Hut. This is very useful for us and for advertising, and it opens up new ideas and markets for you in the industry. Nos ayuda bastante con la publicidad y también te abre muchas ideas de qué puede hacer con hoteles, muchas cosas. Nosotros damos eventos a veces en Honduras y lo utilizamos esto para recopilar información de los usuarios, pero luego no es para mandar spam, pero sí es para mandar spam, ¿va? Entonces, we use this for advertising in Honduras whenever we set up a free Wi-Fi and we collect information, and like I don't like to say we use it for spam, but that's you get the information and you're using it to target people. So anyway, it's spam, yeah. First, you need to have an active hotspot server on your MikroTik router board or run setup at IP hotspot setup. Most of you, if you haven't ever set up a hotspot, it's really simple to go in and set up a hotspot. Basically, you're going to put an IP address on an interface, a VLAN, whatever you want to run, interface you want to run it on, and then you're going to hit next. It's not that difficult. After running a default hotspot server is running, we need to add rules to allow our external login page connection. Después de setear tu hotspot, y si nunca lo has hecho, es bien sencillo. Usted va a poner un IP en una interfaz, luego vaya a IP hotspot, setup, dale next hasta que termina, ¿verdad? Luego tenemos que poner un regla adicional adentro del hotspot para dar acceso a nuestra página externo. En este caso, yo le voy a poner el ejemplo que estoy usando. Y el ejemplo que yo estoy usando, necesitamos permitir el usuario trial, porque estamos usando un trial login que dura 1 hora y después cada hora lo vuelve a pedir login. After that, after getting the what do you call it, the rule in there to let our external page be accessed, we need to set up, on my example, to allow a trial user log in according to your preferences, and this preferences, we have it set up to where it logs in once per hour. After the end of an hour, then it would ask you to log in again. Actually, I think we changed it to about 1.5 hours in Pizza Hut because people weren't getting out of Pizza Hut fast enough and they were having to log back in. So we changed it all the way up to, I think, 1.5 hours, so they didn't have to log in twice while they were sitting there waiting for their pizza or whatever. Here's the rule that I'm adding to allow my external web page. So I'm using IP hotspot walled garden IP, add the action, accept disabled, and the destination host at asinetwork.com. There's 2 or 3 different ways you can do that according to how secure you want your hotspot to be, on what page they can access and all that sort of stuff. Basically, I'm just letting the whole IP from that site go into our walled garden. Este es el ejemplo en IP hotspot walled garden IP, la regla que yo puse en IP hotspot walled garden para dejar accesar la página nuestra donde actualmente está la página de login, porque la página de login ya no está en el MikroTik. Este default login page que todo, si alguna vez ha hecho hotspot, eso es lo que lo vas a ver. Este ejemplo que agarré puede ser modificado en HTML en su MikroTik y se mantenga dentro de MikroTik. Y lo que yo quiero, eso es lo que yo hice por años, sin saber cómo hacer, porque eso no estuviera aquí dentro de MikroTik, que estuviera en otro lugar. This is the default login page if you've ever set up Hotspot on a MikroTik router. For many years, what we would do is go in and modify our HTML inside the router board and using Dreamweaver or whatever your favorite program is. But there's some stuff that we weren't able to do, or we wondered, how do you do that? And so this is what it's about, is using an external page, not using this particular page. So here's the code, an example of the code that you would look like if you were using the default page. I think this is actually the Latvian version. It's not the English version. I pulled a snippet out, and yeah, I see it shows a click to go to English. But this is just a snippet of the code that you see, and it's not even, it's way larger than that inside of here, just the default code, right? Continues. And this is the default login HTML after edit. I'm going to go back because I forgot the Spanish part. Este es el código default en HTML, login.html, adentro del equipo de fábrica, ¿verdad? Una vez que usted lo hace el setup. Y como puede ver, es bien largo, usted le puede cambiar varias cosas, hacerlo más bonito, pero igual queda dentro del equipo. Como se puede ver que sigue ahí. Después de hacer la modificación, esto es lo que yo tengo actualmente en uso. Hay cosas aquí que puede ver que no necesita, pero nosotros lo estamos utilizando por cierto aspecto. This is the default login after our edit, and as you can see, it's a lot smaller, and we're pulling in information, and we're going to send it on to our next page, which is ASI Network, hotspot.asinetwork.com/Facebook, hotspot, whatever. And we're using the method get. I've seen several different examples using method put, using method get. So, I'm not exactly a HTML programmer. I play with this, and I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what we've done, and you can work with your own ideas, whether it's better to use put or whether you use to get. That's maybe somebody in here would know about that. Right here, we're using all of our different code. If you can see right there, at Mac, we're pulling the Mac value of the computer or the laptop, cell phone, whatever. Then next we have a hidden IP value, and it's a public IP address. We were using that because we wanted this hotspot to tell our server its IP address, public IP address, if it was on an added interface or whatever, so it could use API to go back into it and do some other stuff. That's not in this example, but it's in the script we have here. Then we have a router, the RID, which is our router ID number. So we were given each router an ID number so that it could tell our server who I am, basically. And you could add more stuff on there, more stuff to that, take stuff away. There's stuff in here that we're not using right now. like your chat challenge and some other stuff that, in our case, we're using a trial version. It's not a login, so it's not even going to be used later on. And we're going to redirect all this to our Hotspot page. There's several different examples on the wiki, on the internet about this. This little piece of code that you're going to edit for it to redirect to your page. You can, look in there and get more examples. Este es el código después de editarlo. Estoy usando unas cosas aquí que en los ejemplos de internet tal vez no lo va a encontrar. Por ejemplo, la dirección IP pública. Lo estamos mandando esa información a nuestro servidor de página externo, porque antes yo usaba algo por usar API para hacer un login y hacer otras modificaciones. Por ejemplo, la siguiente cosa que es RID, Router ID, estamos poniendo un número en cada MikroTik, solo por llevar el control de dónde proviene. Se puede hacer vía IP address también, pero diferentes cosas con que hemos jugado. Hay otra cosa aquí que no necesitamos, como digo, de acuerdo a lo que tú quieres hacer. Oops, I went backwards. This is the external website that we're using, a part of the code that we're using on our external web page. As you can see on the very top of it, it's set the cookie, the IP, get IP, router ID, refer, chatbot, all those different things that we were receiving, and in the MikroTik, the first login page, all that is getting sent using the get method over to our website. And then we have all of our CSS and everything else that we're using to display our website. Este es el código en la siguiente página, en nuestro servidor externo, donde recibimos la información que nos están entregando el MikroTik. Entonces aquí puede ver set cookie, IP, get IP, todas esas diferentes cosas es donde estamos jalando la información del MikroTik para posteriormente usarlo dentro de nuestro código, ¿verdad? Este es parte del código bien abajo que yo quise que ustedes vieran, que estamos usando para luego regresar al MikroTik y hacer perdón. Esta es la parte final de este código que estamos usando para reaccionar a una tercera página, donde usamos, cuando hacen login, vamos a ir a otra página que se llama insert.php, pero aquí estamos usando otro método. No estamos usando get, estamos usando post. Entonces, hay dos ejemplos en esta misma cosa, de dos maneras de hacerlo, uno usando get, otro usando post. On submit, return la forma validación, porque queremos validar toda la información que ellos están poniendo que esté correcto. This little snippet of code that I'm showing right here is at the bottom of the first external login page. Basically, whenever they see the page and they fill out the information and they hit login, it's going to go back to our validation and make sure everything they put in there is valid information up to what we can validate, right? And then we're going to run it over to a whole other page where we're going to insert it into a SQL database. And we're using, our next page is going to be insert.php that we're going to, and we're using a post method. So as you can see on the first example, we used the get method. On this example, we're using the post method. Two different methods you can use. I could have used both on the same example. Like I say, I think that's part of preference of how you want to set it up and do it. This is the second page that we're using. Esta es la segunda página, where we're using the post method, and we're getting the variables from our first page and bringing them over here to our second page. And then you can come down here, you can see we're going into SQL, and we're doing some insertions into SQL. The connection to SQL, it's not posted. I guess most people would say it shouldn't be on this page. It should have its own external connection and call that connection and all that. In this example, we're connecting to the database from the same script on the same page, and we're doing our insertions and everything. I've seen several different examples of that, and I'm sure there's security issues according to how you do it. This is just a quick example, and I wanted to show everything that we were doing. This is the end of the page, and then here at the bottom is the snippet. That is going to give us the internet. Whenever they hit enter Wi-Fi, entrar Wi-Fi, they're going to be redirected back into the MikroTik information. It's going to give them validate their information and give them login for 1 hour, or according to what our trial is set up to. So that's your username. Is going to create a username with their MAC address. If you've ever used the trial users in the MikroTik, you can see that it adds a user with the time limit using their MAC address with the -T on it. And this is what part of the script actually does that. Esta es de parte del script en la tercera página que te voy a enseñar, que realmente regresa al MikroTik y nos dé el login gratis por 1 hora, o acuerdo a como usted lo tiene seteado. This is what it looks like. This is scalable to a cell phone, to a notebook. We have it to where it will auto-adjust and all that sort of stuff to where it looks nice and neat. I don't know if any of you were ever able to log in here that what I've got running up here, but this is what it looks like if you were ever able to do it. And then it asks for your name, your cell phone, your email, what date you were born, whether you're a male, female, and then accept terms and conditions. So then it says continue. The next thing we're going to see here is I want to show you, this is what it looks like. We have a drop-down menus where we can select our date and everything for what date they were born, because we don't want to start spamming kids and all that sort of stuff. So we're trying to get our preference of what age group we're actually sending stuff to. If they don't fill in the information, they're going to get a pop-up that says your email is not correct or your cell phone is not correct. And this particular cell phone that we're using here is, we know what the country code, all the numbers in the country are, you know, what they start with, the format. So we're actually validating the format of the phone number that they're giving us. And if they don't give us a valid format, well, then they have to reprint it back in. A valid format could be 11111. If, you know, there was a number in the country that started with 1, and it would accept that, and it wouldn't be a valid number. So it's not 100% validation, but we're trying to get as much information as we can. Same thing with the email. If it don't have at whatever, dot whatever, it's not going to validate. The date of birth, they can not touch that and it would go through. They cannot change the gender and it would go through, just because that sort of stuff, how do you validate it, right? And then they have to accept the terms and conditions. Once you hit on the terms and conditions, you're going to see these are our terms and conditions. They'll pop up, and we have one variable that says ASI network. So I want to change for whatever company. I go in there and change one variable. I don't have to rewrite my whole terms and conditions. Basically just freeing ourselves for whatever we could be responsible for. Esta es la página de Hotspot donde haces el login. Como puedes ver, hay un drop-down menu donde vas a seleccionar todo. Y si no llena la información correcto, ahí va a salir un pop-up diciendo dirección de correo no válido, celular no válido, XXX. Eso lo puedes hacer vía en la validación según el número telefónico que hay en el país. Por ejemplo, en el caso nuestro, todos los números empiezan con 2, 3, 6, 9 y son de 8 dígitos. Entonces nosotros configuramos, si ellos ponen un número que empieza con un número que no existe en Honduras, le va a decir que no está válido. Si está muy chiquito, no válido, muy grande, no válido. Si el correo no trae el algo, algo.algo, tampoco no lo va a validar. Si no aceptan los términos y condiciones, tampoco lo va a validar. Entonces, queremos la información, queremos que ellos acepten los términos y condiciones, liberarnos nosotros de cualquier responsabilidad por mal uso del Internet, ¿verdad? En un caso de un restaurante o un hotel, hay muchos términos y condiciones. Y aquí son los términos y condiciones que hace el pop-up. Yo no lo mostré todo, solo puse hasta una cierta parte, pero se puede hacer scroll down y puede ver lo demás. And the part of the terms and conditions, I'm not showing the whole thing here. If you could log on the cell phone, you'd see the whole thing. It goes way on down. They can scroll down, and then they can hit, you know, we accept. They don't have to look at it. They can just click we accept and not actually look at it. But if they click on the hyperlink down there, it says términos y condiciones, it would actually pop it up and show it to them, and they could close it back. Here's with the correct information. Part of the correct information, it's not the date I was born, but anyway. Then we accept the terms and conditions and continue. And this is our second page. We can change our login here to be whatever you want it to be. In this case, I'm for ASI Network or WISP in Honduras. Then this is the second page that we're redirecting to, because we're using this for publicity in the case that we're using it on, so we want to show them as much as we can show them before they actually get internet. So then we can change this up, and this is the second page where it actually injuncts into it puts the SQL, the information into the SQL database, and it returns everything back to them. So it's 3 different pages that we're using to do this. And then this is just entrar internet, and you've got internet. Esta es la página, la tercera página. La primera te enseñé que es el default, que lo modificamos. Esta es la segunda, donde salió por la información. Y esta es la tercera parte, ya que nosotros estamos usando esto por publicidad. Queremos enseñarle la más que podemos antes que tengan internet, ¿verdad? Entonces, usar aquí podría ser, en lugar de ACI Network, puede ser vaya a tal restaurante o comida, lo que usted quiera, pues. Y de ahí entra a internet. Ahí es donde nosotros vamos a hacer la entrega de la información a nuestra base de datos SQL, para posteriormente tener toda la información de ellos. Aquí está la información recolectada de lo que estamos viendo acá. Aquí ya está la información. Entonces, aquí tengo como mi vendedor puede ver la información, mi vendedor puede editar, lo puede poner la información de contacto que él optó, o si él mandó un correo, lo que quiera, y darle a actualizar al cliente. This is the SQL part where we are actually pulling the information back out that the customer gave us. If this is line 188, I didn't put all the lines on there. This is the information I showed that I put in there. And I have a little edit button over there. We can open it up and edit. If say my sales guy called him and say, hey, you want internet, and whatever. And he could write his notes and save it or whatever. So in the case of Pizza Hut, and they don't have their database quite set up like this. This is just my little example that I've got. And they have some extra stuff that we've added onto it. So basically, if you go to Pizza Hut and you've never been there before, it's going to ask you for a login. You're going to put all your information in. You're going to save it. You get free internet. After, you can put not correct information. You still get free internet too, though, right? It just has to be in the right format. After you've done that once or twice, you can go to whatever Pizza Hut in Honduras, whatever Denny's, whatever Kentucky Fried Chicken. They all have a different page, but it all feeds off the same database. And next time you go, if you haven't changed cell phones, it's going to say, welcome, Michael Sin. Thank you for coming back to Denny's. Do you want to edit your information? And you could say yes, and it would let you edit your information, your cell phone number. If you're tired of them spamming you, you could change it to something else. Or you could hit accept terms and conditions and continue, and you're right back on the internet without having to go through the whole process of filling everything back out. They keep up with how many times the MAC addresses hit each restaurant to know what kind of target groups they want to spam. So anyway, that's my presentation. You can use this for free Wi-Fi restaurants, at bars, Expo. We use it for Expo. We do a lot of, when there's an Expo, we set up Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi for everybody at the Expo, and we're just collecting data is all we're doing. And advertising our product. And using advertisement, using the two-step page. There's a lot of other stuff you could do as far as setting up usernames, passwords, hotels using it with their SQL to put the room number and all this. And I'd always wondered, how do they do that? Are they using some kind of radius server, or how? Because I mean, there's 100 different ways you could do skin a cat, right? Yo siempre he preguntado cómo hacen en los restaurantes, en un hotel o algo, que van y te dicen, no, ponga tu número de cuarto y ponga tu número de celular. Pero ellos están usando algo similar a eso, usando su base de datos y todos los diferentes códigos con servidores externos, o tal vez con base de datos o radios o algo así, ¿verdad? Como hay más de una manera de matar a un gato. Aquí lo puede usar por Wi-Fi gratis en restaurantes, bares, hoteles. Nosotros usamos mucho por exposiciones, para que nosotros damos internet gratis en una exposición. Estamos promocionando nuestra empresa, recolectando data, para luego hacer spamming, ¿verdad? Bueno, that's all I've got. If anybody had any question, I feel free to answer.
Yeah, one question. When you said that when the user goes back to another hotspot and it remembers him, it's by the MAC address only?
The MAC address.
How do you protect against a spoofing MAC address attack? For example, I'm going to the network, I do a scan of the network, then I know all the MAC address here are identities that I could use elsewhere.
Right now, we're not doing anything against spoofing on that particular setup that we have. You could change the MAC address to my cell phone and go in and it's going to say, hello, Michael Sin. Because it's not anything that's really super important, we haven't done anything yet with that.
Maybe you could be exposing people's private information, because I know your MAC address of your phone, I can log into that and I can edit information, and I got all the that came to my.
Yeah, that's a real good point. I hadn't really thought about it that way.
I need a cookie or something in there.
That's a really good thought there. Whenever we originally set it up, they couldn't go in and edit anybody's information. It was just static. Like this one, you can't go in and edit the information. It's static. But on the Pizza Hut one, about 6 months after we set it up and I finished and wiped my hands, their programmer come in, and I walk into Pizza Hut about a week later, and I see where their programmer had added a little button on there to edit it. And to be honest with you, I didn't even run through my mind at that time period to say, hey, you know, you're exposing everybody like that, until you brought it up just now. But I'm kind of out of that right now, but that would be something very important to think about, and use a cookie or something on the computer to try to protect the information as much as possible. Any other questions? ¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta? Well, I appreciate your time, and like I say, my Spanish probably isn't the best Spanish, my English probably isn't the best English either. I'm from Louisiana, you know how we speak from there, even though my accent's probably changed over the years. And Spanish is learned, so like I say, I appreciate the opportunity to come here and present this to you, and I just hope it opens up ideas of what you can do. That's the whole idea about this is to learn as much as we can. It's taken me years and years to learn a lot of stuff that I wish somebody would have said, hey, you know, if you just did this would have done different, you know. But coming here to the mums, this is my fourth mum, and I always enjoy meeting and talking with everybody and figuring out what they're doing, telling them what I'm doing, and sharing information. So, thank you.